Okay, so in my last video, I left off talking about, sorry, my ponytail's falling. I left talking about going into my first briefing ever through the military. Yay! That's what you would think, right? Okay, so honestly, the briefing wasn't boring. Like, I don't know if it wasn't boring because the guy giving it was like making us interact, and he was funny, and he would put his little 2 cents in, so it was like, it was just a good time. He made the whole Mep experience like top notch. I wouldn't go again, but he made the whole process worthwhile. So he gave us a briefing. We had some papers on our desk when we first walked in, and you had to fill them out before he came in to give the briefing. And on it was like basically asking about depression and anxiety. So like, just answer those as you see fit. Yeah, I don't know if previous depression is a disqualifier. Do not hold me to this because I don't know. Do your research. But I don't know if it's a disqualifier or if it'll just like disqualify you from certain jobs. I don't know. Again, if you know the answer to that, comment down below. Let a girl know. Educate some people in the comments. But yeah, so they asking about depression. Have you ever been arrested? That type of thing. So, it's just kind of like what you do with your recruiter. Fill out the questions and give a comment on the back if you had to answer yes to anything. So when he came in about the briefing, he basically told us what we're going to do that day, what the doctor's going to be looking for, and we had to do any updates on your paperwork that you did with your recruiter, like those 200 questions. It felt like you're just going to update them pretty much. Like, you're going to have a copy of yours, and then if anything's changed on the back, you just have to write like updates or whatever. So it's not, you don't have to answer them all over again. Whew, thank God. So he came in and did that. Then it was the same one guy. It was maybe about 12 of us in a room, maybe 12, 15 people in a room. And we still had to wear those corona masks. But he had to check our blood pressure and our breathalyzer. So one thing I know with the blood pressure machine, it also checks your heart rate. And if you have this mask on, it reduces your oxygen flow, which most people might know by now. So if you're one of those people that's like going to be, you're already nervous, I would recommend like being like pulling your mask down below your nose a little bit, or like pulling it out, because if not, it's going to make your heart rate slow, and they're going to be like, are you still here? Are you alive? Like, it reduces your oxygen flow. So I would recommend just kind of pulling it down for a little bit if you're already nervous. Me personally, I had the cloth mask on, so I kind of pulled it down, like, 'cause it was getting hot. But I usually don't have problems with blood pressure and heart rate anyways, knock on wood. So I wasn't too worried about it. But I know there's some people in our room who had these masks on the whole time, and their heart rate was low and their blood pressure was high. I don't know why, but as soon as they pulled this down for a little bit, they were fine. So yeah. So after he took our blood pressure and our breathalyzer, he took the people who had the testing to the testing area, and the people who didn't need a test straight to the physicals. I had to take the ASVAB. Okay, so if you're going to take ASVAB at Meps, it's going to be the computer version. And if you don't know, the computer version gets harder as you get more right, and it gets a little easier as you get like more wrong. And it was not bad. I personally do not think the ASVAB was that bad. I did buy the ASVAB prep book 2020 and 2021 on Amazon. It's purple. I did get that. Did I think it helped? A little bit. Okay, so I think it helped as far as the math and the word knowledge goes, but as far as like paragraph comprehension, like I'm freshly out of college, so for me, like the word comprehension, like that's like high school stuff to me. So like I just kind of, I didn't really practice it. The thing that really got me was mechanic and auto shop, but I wasn't too worried about it considering I wanted a job in the medical and health field, which I did select my job. So this is probably gonna be a 3-part series, so make sure you stay tuned for part 3. to figure out which job I selected and what I actually did score. Sorry guys, score on my ASVAB. But anyways, I think the ASVAB part was not bad. It was just by the time I woke up at 4:45 or whatever to eat breakfast, and 10 o'clock when I took the ASVAB, like, I was hungry again. Like, all I ate was tater tots and eggs. So I was low-key kind of had a headache going, and like I just was irritable at the time of the ASVAB. So I know I could have did better than what I did, but I'm not even mad at what I got. And I don't know if it's just an Air Force thing or a online version thing, or I was just randomly selected to be extra tested, or if this is a new part of the ASVAB that I knew nothing about. But I had to do a cyber test as well. If you know anything more about it on why I had to take it, comment down below. But y'all, your girl is not tech savvy, so it would have been nice to know that I had to do that. I could at least looked up some stuff, because they were asking me questions like, what does USB stand for? And I'm like, I should know this. Like, you would think I know this, but I'm just not tech savvy. Like, it was so bad. And so I took that after the original ASVAB, and then afterwards they asked me like a 150 question personality test. Okay, so for this, it's kind of like they ask you A or B, like which one describes you more. And it could be like, my friends love to hang out with me, and then the bottom will be like, I love to draw, and then you pick which one relates to you more. And then the next one could be like, my friends hate me, I hate drawing. And I'm like, this is kind of contradicting, you know? Like, I just said my friends like me, but now I have to put that they don't like me, or that I don't like to draw, because I do like to draw. So I don't know. And at that point, like I said, I was already irritated. I already had a headache. So I was just like, forget it. I don't even care at this point. So once I completed that, I left, and I did my first physical thing of the day, which was the interview. So the interview, I did not know what they meant when they were like, you have an interview? I was kind of like, interview? Like a job interview? Like, what's going on? But it's just where I had to sit down and talk to the doctor. And people always say, like, this is where they try to trick you up. I personally did not feel like he was trying to trick me up. I don't know. I didn't get that vibe from him. I mean, he asked me about previous paperwork, and like, he was like, that's where they try to figure out stuff you didn't put on your paperwork, which they did ask. They were like, you know, have you ever broken a bone? And then that's where they're waiting for you to be like, yeah, I broke a bone one time when I was 3, but you didn't put it on your paperwork. Or they were like, do you have anything blood related? Which I do have sickle cell trait, which is not a disqualifier from the military. So that's where they found out I had that at. A lot of people say they lie during this time. I personally don't recommend lying, but at the end of the day, just say yes ma'am, no sir, you know, yes ma'am, no ma'am, whatever, you know. Do what you gotta do, homie. I don't know, but I ain't encourage you to lie or nothing, but at the end of the day, do what you gotta do, I guess. But about the sickle cell trait, like, they were gonna find out eventually anyways, and it's not a disqualifier. I didn't really care, because they draw blood, so they're gonna know. So it was what it was. He just asked me questions like that, and he'd be like, do I have any history of heart murmurs, or has anyone ever told me I need to use inhaler? Just little. Have you ever been hospitalized? Which I do have a son. Oh gosh, which I do have a son. So, I mean, that's a reason for me to be hospitalized. For the mothers out there, hi. I personally, okay, so I gave a vaginal birth. Sorry guys, if you're a guy watching this, I'm really sorry, but I gave a vaginal birth with no epidural. So for me, all I needed was my son's birth certificate to show like, hey, she really had a baby. But I think I've heard some women who had a C-section and they had to get like their whole procedures and their follow-ups, like they had to have all that paperwork. I don't know about all that. That's something for you and your recruiter. But me personally, I didn't have to have all that. I just needed my son's birth certificate to say, hey, she really had a baby. So after my interview portion, I'm going to pull out these hearing notes. I did my hearing test. Guys, when I say that hearing test is okay, so at first, like, I was like, okay, click, this is easy. And then all of a sudden, like, I stopped hearing things. And I was like, is the test over with? So I kind of like peeked around the corner and I didn't see the guy coming. So I was like, no, the test still got to be going. So I'm just going to click, okay? I was like, I'm just going to click. And so I was just clicking, and like, you think you hear the person beside you's headphones, but keep in mind, like, no, that's not theirs. Like, it's yours. I promise you. Like, don't think it's theirs. And like, the headphones are like really small, so you're like, it could be theirs. Like, it could be theirs, but y'all, it's not. I promise. So just click the button. I know some people saying they just click it like in a pattern, which I guess that could work. Maybe, I don't know. But once I start hearing stuff and I didn't see him coming, I was like, oh crap, the test is still going. So I was pushing the button, and then I could start hearing things again. I was like, okay. And yeah, and you're like in this soundproof room. Like, when you close the door, it's like silent. I guess because it's like cushioned, but it's like dead silent. Like, you can't hear anything. And so I did that, and when I got out, the guy doing the test was like, I didn't think you were going to make it for a second there. And I was like, he was like, yeah, like, you just went quiet. Like, you stopped clicking. I was like, I'm worried for you. I was like, yeah, I was worried for me too. So he printed the sheet, and it had like zeros and fives and 15s on it. And I have knowledge on that because on a previous YouTube video I watched, if you have a 0, that means like you didn't miss any, I guess, during that time frame. And whatever, I don't know, I think it counts going up by 5s. And like, if you have anything higher than a 40, then you're gonna have to retake the test. So just a disclaimer, if you see a 40 on your little receipt paper that they print out, you're gonna have to redo it. But this is getting also a little lengthy, so I'm gonna cut it right here and go to part 3. So if you're watching this, go ahead and slide over to part 3. Like, why not? You're already this far along, and you haven't even made it to the best part. So slide on over to part 3. Bye, guys.